Free Dorks on Demand. I've been saying the other thing for so long. I almost tripped myself up. But damn, it's good to be back. And there's the debut of my beautiful wife. And my beautiful work wife.
Other wife?
Mr. Barone.
Work wife.
My work wife.
Uh-huh.
Wow, I like the way it looks. It's a good looking stream.
It's good look. It's good look. Those colors are awfully familiar.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
I think we did a fantastic
job. And I think also Knack for the top part would be like the Dork Dynasty, and then have like 3 Dorks on Demand on the bottom. I see the little black thing on the bottom that I put. It's like the little bar across the bottom. Like if you looked at our old set, it'll show you that it had like the either like the website or something down there, so that we can fill in that blank at a future time.
We could totally discuss that later.
I'm just saying that there's nobody watching, so I'm just getting that out of the way before people pop in.
Right?
Yeah, 5 minutes of pre-show. We're working out the bugs, people.
Hey, there we go.
You know, we got to work out some bugs. This is our first time live on YouTube, so you know, who knows what's going to happen.
New network, new show, new platform, same people.
Exactly.
Yeah. So why don't we discuss why? Well, do we want to wait for 5 minutes and then we can discuss why this all happened and transpired? And
3 minutes. That way, those that were planning on jumping in at 7 won't miss out. You know.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Hi, Sean.
And then you have to. You see chat people?
Yeah.
I see no chat people.
Just Sean.
Chat people? Oh boy.
Sean? Who's Sean? I'm looking, but I don't see anything popping up on my top chat.
Scroll.
Oh, it says looking good. Now I see it.
Oh.
Yeah. All except for this rogue patch here. So apparently I'm going to be an X-Men for Halloween. Because that's where my gray hair comes in.
Oh, yeah.
I get the sides.
Did you call me nobody? Nobody said that.
But did Sean get to hear you call Barone your work wife? Are you cheating on Sean?
Well, are you instigating shit or what?
Of course.
What the hell? You did not need to know that part. What stays in stream stays in stream.
What happens in stream?
Yeah.
Yeah, that part.
That thing. We miss you too.
Oh.
We definitely miss this.
We definitely miss this, that's for sure. And you and everybody, really. I mean, it's not like we, have any like ill will or bad feelings towards anything or anybody. We just decided that
we just went a different direction.
Yeah. And I mean, quite frankly, it's a long time coming. I mean, it wasn't really supposed to be a lifetime commitment, or at least not even a 3-year commitment. But, I enjoyed what we did. We have a huge library of shows that people can go back on.
A lot of great memories.
Yeah. So, and that's nice, we need that.
We found some fantastic friends along the way. And
Yeah.
We're growing up.
It's true. We found amazing friends along the way, and we will still be, supporting Con Carolinas for sure. I will go there. I'm Con Carolinas, for life kind of guy. I just thought, we thought that we would just take it, to the street and do what we want to do and be a little more, us, if that makes sense, because we're not restricted by, like the confines of the convention.
The
you know,
confines of the con.
right? You saw what I did there, did you?
I see what you did there. No,
Yeah.
I think that we took things, in my opinion, as far as we could with the convention. We had all kinds of love for them, everybody involved in the convention, but creative differences. I think
I mean,
we
it wasn't
wanted to
even
go
that really.
in a different direction.
I don't even think there was differences. I mean, they supported us in everything we did. We didn't really
They're
have
not
any.
unsupportive.
Right. We
but-
didn't really have any differences. We just kind of wanted to strike out on our own and do our own thing and not have a governing body, like
Yeah.
we are our own governing body,
I'm in charge. No.
right? We have no one but ourselves to answer to. And of course, the people that watch our show, because we love doing what you all want us to do, which I hope is, keep on keeping on, really.
So explain BRB for me.
BRB stands for the Bronner Ray Barone Network. That's us three.
What's that?
That's the magic. And then
Right.
there's the magic behind the scenes, which is the other part of us,
Which is the sword that goes through.
the sword that goes
He's the
through the
sword that
BRB.
holds
Yeah, he holds
everything
us
together.
together, and that's Nick Dugan. So
Knick-knack.
take a bow. Nick, we'll probably have him on the show at some point and introduce him formally, but for now, he's going to remain behind the scenes. He's the one that's in charge of.
He's the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, and he does bow dramatically. That's awesome. But he is the great and powerful. Not that he's replacing anyone. That there's no replacement for
Here
Sean.
we go.
Let me
There's
make amends.
Throw Man. Yeah, now that every time we go to Walmart, we have to swing by the Lego section.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Sean.
Sean.
I now
Thanks.
bow dramatically.
Okay.
But
I'm
it's
responsible for that.
really helped me a lot with my lateral
Dexterity.
pinch and all of the other rehabilitation I've been trying to do on my hand.
Well, that's good. I think that's one of the best uses I can think of for Legos because they're cool. Don't get me wrong, but they're it's an expensive hobby.
Yeah.
Get really pricey, especially nowadays. But the fact that it's helping you, that's awesome. That's really cool.
Right. I
But-
mean, so instead of spending like $25 a week in physical therapy, I can just spend $25 a week on Legos. Whether I want to amass it for a month and just do $100 a month, or,
Which is basically what you have to do. You're not
Right.
buying a Lego
Although-
for $25.
although we've been pretty frugal. The Lego sets we bought the last one I bought was Groot Venom, and
It was on rollback.
it was on rollback for like $30, and I'm like, hell yeah, because the Rocket version, like the pair, like its complement was still $70-$80. So
It was like 60.
no, it was $70-$80, 69 maybe. But
Funny.
yeah. But anyhow, I don't know why we always argue about that kind of stuff. But she always remembers shit different than I do, which is crazy.
That's
When
good.
it comes to money,
Yeah, but you don't always remember everything.
okay.
Jen and I are the same way. Where if something is, let's say it costs $67, I'll say it costs $65. She'll say it costs $70.
Except for it's opposite for us. Because I will overestimate and she will underestimate.
I don't underestimate. I get it.
No. Find the receipt. Let's solve it right now.
All right, hold on. Hold, please. We're going to find the receipt.
Oh, yeah. This is fun. Not counting your discount either, punk. Don't even go there with me. You don't want a piece of this. So what are we gonna do? What do we have on tap in our new endeavor? What do you think the direction is?
Sure. Well, I think, the direction of the show is kind of similar to what it was before, where we just kind of cover a broad swath of topics that are all about geekdom, nerddom, the topics that are near and dear to our hearts, and hopefully near and dear to our audience's hearts as well. We love movies, TV, comics, video games, sci-fi, fantasy, right?
Yes.
I love?
Nothing.
Do you know what I love?
No, I don't know what you love.
Are you sure you don't know what I love?
Can we recap? What was your guess? No one sees it.
You love being right. Oh,
What does it say?
That's not how much the was price was on that thing now.
It's $60
On the website.
in store. I have the in-store option clicked. It does not have a rollback or a clearance flag on it, so it's $60.
I don't know if I believe this.
I'm a happy girl. I'm done for
With
the
my
night,
soul. I don't know.
oh boy.
She just likes to be right all the time.
No, 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 no.
Was
It's
right.
more than a like. It is an obsession.
It is an obsession.
It is an obsession.
But I will say, I mean, wow, yes, she was right, but also that is an absurd amount of money to spend on a Rocket
That's the point.
Raccoon Lego dude.
Right.
But
So, what are we?
I was
giving
saying
the
it was a
fans?
good price too. We got it for like $30. So
Exactly.
so what is this channel about? Debating Lego set prices. Being correct.
I mean that you're not wrong. I mean it's
Yeah.
it's kind of sums up how we are, you know, and how we interact with one another, and
Mhm.
it is our broad swath of geekdom, like
It
you
really is.
so eloquently
doubts me.
described.
I prove I'm right. The world keeps turning.
Right, but then everyone needs to understand it is Bronner that's making these, you know, glorious gestures, and I don't really have a leg to stand on.
I
Oh,
knew what you
wow.
said there.
Oh boy.
Do you know how much those?
I need
jokes
more
get me?
Legos too.
Yeah.
Sean says he needs more Legos.
I
need
don't
more
know
Legos,
why
too.
or when it became impossible to just find a basic Lego set.
I don't
that you
care
can
for the
make.
basic Lego set because you have to buy so many because otherwise you're gonna have a multicolored dwelling, and
Yeah.
you're gonna have it's gonna be like a rainbow of colors. And
They are also
What's wrong with
very
that?
expensive too. Like I was just out of curiosity looking for just like basic like knights and castles because I used to get those when I was a kid and I was curious if they had them. And they do, but they're like $150 for just like a small little like tavern with like 2 knights and like a maiden. It's like how on earth can you get away with charging that?
I
But
don't know.
for plastic,
yeah.
For
But they
plastic.
look cool.
and they make money. They make so much money on like their other endeavors, like their movies and their amusement parks,
And the games.
and so on and so forth. Yeah, the video games. I mean, it's not like they're struggling, you know, to make ends meet. They're making money hand over fist, but
They
they still
certainly
don't.
are.
They don't pass the savings on to their consumer, do they?
Definitely do not.
Speaking of, okay, while we're on the topic of Legos, did anybody see they have a Dungeons and Dragons Lego set? It's like really cool. It has a red
Nuh-uh.
dragon that you put together. It has a beholder. It's very cool, but it's like over $300.
See, the problem that I have with Legos is that you start searching Legos and then all of a sudden that's all that pops up on your feed. But thank you to today's society, I have no idea whether what's popping up on my feed is legit or if it's an AI generated image. Because I've fallen for a couple of those. I'm like, oh my God, that would be so cool. No, it's not real.
Welcome to our dystopia. Mm.
Sean's building that one on his stream.
The Legos, the
Dungeons and
D&D
Dragons one.
Legos.
Oh my god.
On the is it going to be? Is it on the 3 Bard stream, or are you streaming something different? Or are you just building it as you stream? Oh, we'll wait for the answer. It's with bated breath. I don't really know how much the delay there is. We're still getting used to the things. Oh, it's his channel.
His channel.
Sweet. I didn't even know that you had a channel like that.
We've
That
been
was a
so out
separate
of
thing.
touch. I think we
than
took
Bards.
honestly a much needed like step away, kind of reconsolidate, configure everything that was going on.
Sure. it's also like by kind of breaking off and becoming our own entity, it's given us an opportunity to sort of expand our horizons and like the type and breadth of content that we provide. Um, Con Carolinas is no longer subject to the words that come out of our mouth. So
Right.
if we
That
say
reminds me.
something that would be objectionable, we're all good.
Fuck. Ha! I did the first one.
God, we can say it now.
Yeah, we can say it with, we are not kid-friendly show, and that's what we
We are not.
the little button we clicked,
We
so-
are
We
kid
put that out
unfriendly.
up front. This is not kid friendly.
not at
Depending on
all.
your kid. If
Yeah.
your kid is a child of a Gen Xer, it's probably kid friendly.
I would say so. I mean, we're no worse than any of the movies or TV shows that they watch or listen to.
Or video games they play.
Correct, Mundo.
Definitely video games. Have
All
you
right.
seen some of the armor on the female characters?
Yeah.
But yeah, of course we've seen it. Duh. And we support this endeavors of, I mean, at least I do personally,
Right.
which why I bought you a nice Crits t-shirt because I support that type of thing, that exploitation of.
That shirt grew on me. I was not excited for it at first. I liked the other one better.
Oh, she hated me for it. Like she literally.
I did not. I said I appreciate the gesture, but
I'll never wear it.
can you not buy clothing without my prior approval first?
And now she wears it,
That's
once a week.
Aw. Well, it worked out. Yeah, I'm all for it as long as it's a choice. I think that
Sure.
they should be allowed to dress as they so choose, and people want to
Me
show
too.
skin, go nuts. And
If I want to wear a G-string, I'm wearing a
Do it.
G-string.
hell yeah,
Can I get you a Batman G-string?
Is there really much to it?
It's a bat symbol. Right
Oh,
here.
right there.
Right here.
I would be just too stretched out for my liking.
Can you just not wear it on stream, please?
I won't wear it on screen. I'll look like a sumo wrestler if I wore it on stream.
We don't have that kind of rating, okay?
Yeah, this is not our OnlyFans podcast. Not that we have one. I don't want to put that out in the universe that we have an OnlyFans podcast.
I'm like, I think that on YouTube you could probably get away with wearing a G-string.
Yeah, I would think so.
Probably.
I mean, people have to actually click in, right?
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, how long would it be hidden in the masses before somebody actually found it? So,
It's like a needle in a haystack, a not
mean,
so
who's gonna
not
find
so
it?
needle. Yeah,
so what else do we have in store for this glorious rebirth?
I think that one of the things that I'm looking forward to the most, without being under the constraints of the convention kind of thing, is kind of exploring our other passions and hobbies that aren't necessarily nerd related. Even though we're Three Dorks on Demand, we don't always have to talk about dorky things. I mean, we can talk about music, or dramatic movies, not necessarily science fiction or fantasy or
Can we talk about rom-coms?
rom-coms would have to be a separate, absolute separate podcast. Maybe that could be your little special podcast.
Why can't I be a rom-com dork?
Because there's no such thing.
Why not?
They haven't made a good rom-com that's set in the Middle Ages
It doesn't
or in
have to be-
Narnia or in
Hold up. Pause.
in Ronin or
Hold
anywhere.
Up. Hold up. Wait a minute.
Row here.
Hold.
Actually,
So, this is my thing because you started talking about it, and that was one of the things that really encouraged me to want to step outside of our previous endeavor with CCTV. Is the fact that the more the show went on, the more we realized that
That's
you
true.
can be a nerd about anything, and we wanted to do more. You could be a sports nerd, you could be a movie nerd, you could be a writing nerd, you could be a comic nerd, and we did not want to be confined
Yeah.
into the bubble of the conventions.
Especially when Con Carolinas didn't um, ever focus on like anime or comic
Right.
books.
They have what they do, and they are very successful at it. We wanted to do more than that. We wanted to be able to talk about sports because I'm a sports nerd. I like sports. We wanted to talk about music. You're a music nerd. We all have nerdy things that do
Right. I
fall
mean,
into the
we just
convention.
don't have that that constraint really, right?
So why My Lady Jane?
That's on the list.
Thank you. So I could be a
We haven't
rom-com
watched it yet, so we
dork.
don't know. But it
You
is
know.
on the list.
You haven't watched My Lady Jane?
No, you haven't watched it either.
Yes, I have.
No, you haven't.
Isn't
It's
that
brand
the
new
one-
on Prime. No, you're thinking of your Highness, Royal Highness, which
Oh,
sounds a lot like My Lady Jane, but it's called Your Royal Highness. With the one with the what's his name? The guy who played Oz in The Great and Powerful.
wait, Your Royal Highness, did that have James Franco in it?
Yes,
It did. Okay.
who I just referenced in The Great and Powerful Oz.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's a different movie, but yeah, My Lady Jane is a new movie on Prime that is kind of a medieval rom-com. So it's on the list.
Oh, classic. The Princess Bride is it's
Oh,
a dash adventure.
true.
Mhm.
Very true.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
It's very true. I stand corrected. It's a
So-
fabulous rom-com.
Once again, I was
Nick was right.
right. Nick is just my
Yeah.
supporting material. You know, cite your work. I'm just gonna put Nick.
That's what the game really is. I'll get this whiteboard out and I'll just tally.
How many times did I right?
That's correct.
Oh, you'll run out of room, bro. There's basically okay. My
Your
daughter
daughter.
has been tracking this for years, and
On
she
her
literally
phone.
has one
Entry.
instance,
She has two. I believe
maybe
she has
two, maybe two, maybe that's still up for debate, of a time where she was proven that she wasn't right. One instance in years. It's not fun to be me.
That's a lot to hold on to. It feels like that would be an unhealthy thing for somebody.
She
to
doesn't
hold
just
on
hold on to it, bro. She like embraces it to the next
Okay.
level.
So
to. Oh, boy.
not yesterday, Monday. I was at work. Go ahead, fact check the episode, Sean. So I was at work and I had made mention that one of my favorite things is to be right, that I'm always right.
Right.
And one of the girls at work said, "Yeah, okay." I said, "Let me call my husband. He'll tell you. He'll vouch for me." And she's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." I whipped out the phone. "Are you sure about this?" She's like, "No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding." I said, "No, I got you." And I called on
Speakerphone.
speakerphone and made him say it out loud.
You know how utterly painful this is for me,
That's
and especially being as prideful of a person as I am. Like I don't like to be wrong.
But here's the fix for that. If you just agree with me, you'll never be wrong.
But that's not in my nature to be an agreeable man. That's not
You're
one of my
contradictory?
things. Right.
Mm-hmm. Just a little bit.
Right. So I will keep fighting the good fight.
like you'd be surrendering a whole lot of personal agency by just blindly agreeing with something that another person
Thank
said,
you.
no matter how
Thank
much
you.
you
Nothing would make her happier either. Or would it really? I mean, think about it. If I was just like, "Oh yeah, baby, you're right.
Oh, that would annoy the hell out of
As
me.
soon as
couldn't
I
do
said it, she'd be like, "You're just pacifying me. You're just placating me."
Yeah.
And I'm like, am I or am I not? I will never tell.
Yeah, no. If all you did was agree with me, I would go crazy.
We wouldn't work as well as we work.
No.
That's
I need
for
a
sure.
challenge.
Yeah.
I need somebody that challenges me, that
Yeah.
pushes me.
She likes to be proved that she's
Um,
right. She likes to prove she's right. I mean,
Yeah.
it's facts. You've
Which
known
is
her
why-
long
It's
enough.
less about the being right and more about the proving.
It's true. That's why she like when we had Buttercup's trivia on CCTV. That's why she gave Buttercup such a hard time because she would like know for a fact like, I'm right and you're wrong in this instance, and she would not let go. She'd be like a pit bull,
I am an arguer.
born and bred.
Mhm.
I understand that. I understand when you know you're right, and it's like, but the rules of the game, and you're just telling me I'm wrong, but I know that the answer was that I said was correct. That gets me.
The hard part for me is the pick and choose your battles,
Mhm.
because I have such a strong personality to the point that right is right, wrong is wrong. And they're black and white things. There's not a gray matter when it comes to right and wrong when you're talking factual things. So if this is right and you're telling me differently, I will die before I let go of that argument. Like Pitbull, I cannot set that aside.
It's facts. Makes my life an utter hell.
I will. You will know that I am not accepting this, and I will stand my ground.
I mean, she makes people cry all the time at work.
Listen, that's a totally different episode. We're not going to discuss this. We're not going to discuss this.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'm just kind of correlating to the fact that you probably have made Buttercup cry.
Oh.
And she's hard to make cry. And she's such a sweet.
I've made
She's
pretty
so
much
sweet.
everybody.
Right. That's what all I'm trying to say.
Is I'm a horrible individual. I get it.
No, I don't think you're horrible. Also, well, I don't know if I want to. I'm going to point out you've never made me cry, but also please don't take that as a challenge. Look,
I
just
won't,
like,
no.
Challenge accepted.
No,
it probably wouldn't take much to get me there.
it's
Why are you
not-
sleep deprived?
So listen, it's not that I go into something choosing violence. You know, I don't choose to be an asshole. My point of the matter is, ask my mother. I have always been this way from the time I came out the Schuster. I have always been this way.
Schuster.
Facts don't care about your feelings. If you don't like the fact, that's not my problem. I don't care if me telling you a fact makes you cry. If you are that harmed by a fact, that is a you problem, not a me problem. And I've been accused of being a cold-hearted bitch.
I mean,
been called
there's limits to what you say though. I mean,
Ice queen?
there's pouring salt in wounds that you don't necessarily have to.
It's not pouring salt. I'm just presenting the facts.
But you also like to beat a dead horse.
Bull.
A
You
dead
like
bull,
to-
whatever, horse, bull, whatever it is, you'd like to beat it.
We don't have Miko here, so we're not going to get into this line of questioning. We need a therapist for that one.
Interesting from like a kind of a philosophical perspective too. It's like, you know, I forget who it was who coined it, but it's an old Italian expression about the virtuous lie, which is the idea that like if the truth would only cause harm, it's more virtuous to tell a lie than to tell the truth, which is fascinating because a lot of times we just associate the idea of lying as something that's just harmful. Never do it. Always be honest. But then, you know, when you're in situations, everybody lies. I mean, let's be real. Everybody does it. You're in a situation where you're asked a question, and if you were to answer truthfully exactly how you feel, there could be negative consequences for that person, for yourself. It becomes very difficult, you know?
For people you care about, right? You don't want to put people through that
For
situation.
other people, it does not become difficult for me.
No.
Listen,
She's the exception to the rule. I mean, really.
I expect the very same honesty that I give. If I say, "Does this shirt?"
Yeah,
make
at least
me
she,
look-
at least she doesn't do that. At least she's not one of those, you know.
Right. Does this shirt
That
make me
can't
look
take
like a
it.
fucking potato? And if he says yes, I said bet, changing the shirt. There's not emotions. There's not
I would
emotions.
never
don't
say yes to that question.
play a part in facts. If you tell me something that is crappy, you know what, Rachel? You're a bitch. You're fucking right. You're absolutely right. I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to whine about it. It's a fact. It just is what it is. The sky is blue. I'm not going to cry about it. It's just how I've always been. Because I was instilled in a young age that right is right and wrong is wrong.
But and it's not really about being right or wrong. It's about the way you play the game.
I don't play games. I don't play games.
Oh boy.
But I don't think any of this has to do with what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, we're here
Unless, of course,
to destroy each other.
we've changed the show altogether.
Right? There's no more nerd
There's no more
dynamic.
nerd stuff. We're going to talk deep shit all the time.
No, this is not the podcast for me. I will like to bow out
If someone's not
gracefully.
doing our jobs anymore.
No, I haven't seen it, Sean.
What's Kite Man?
I don't know, but we're going to look it up. It sounds familiar.
I don't know what it is.
Say if you ever want to watch a very real show, watch The Bear. It's a very, very
What is it?
Cocaine Bear?
The Bear.
Oh, is that the Apple show or the Hulu show? It's on a network we don't have.
It's on Hulu, and you can also watch it, I think, off Disney Plus, or maybe it's just because I have Disney Plus and Hulu. That's me active one on the other. But oh, it's so good, so realistic too. Like, I mean, there's good character work, but really they've like shot it to try to feel as real as possible. As these like guys are kind of putting together a restaurant, and it's crazy watching the dialogue as these people are just cussing each other out, and like some of the characters that you think you would absolutely hate, you later like see a little bit more of the other sides of them. They grow on you. Great show. Can't recommend it enough. Not nerdy. Look at that. See?
Hey, look at that.
Oh, he says it's a Harley Quinn spinoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. In fact, we don't have Max anymore for some reason.
We're having issues with our setup. We're going to get it fixed, but currently we don't have it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's hard for me to live without Max because Max has got some phenomenal stuff on it. So, I mean, and stuff that is older that I really like to revisit, like Barry. Barry is a really great show that is just a great little quick, 20-minute show that is just a good time suck.
Those are good. Those little
You need
like,
those sometimes.
half-hour episodes that you can just run through a season, and it's like watching a movie.
And it's brilliantly written, and it's super funny, and it's very charismatic. So yeah, if you haven't seen Barry, my son turned me onto it, and we've been going back and forth to giving each other, like this is a should watch for you.
Yeah,
And
it's kind of cute.
Yeah, it's kind of been a really cool little, I don't know, rabbit hole.
Little endeavor you guys have gone down.
Yeah, but there's lots of shows right now that are really piquing my interest, and there's lots of movies coming out that are really piquing my interest. So,
Quite a bit.
man,
going
stay
on.
tuned. I mean, there's some great stuff coming out. What do we? 4
There's
more days until Deadpool arrives?
Good
Well,
nerdy stuff in the pipeline.
Tomorrow, what are you talking about?
You're seeing it tomorrow.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
is this
it
the
comes out on the 26th. But like with all of these movies, I don't know why they say the release date is Friday when they all come out on Thursday. Every single one of them. So yeah,
Midnight.
tomorrow.
Thursday midnight.
No, I'm seeing it tomorrow, Thursday at 7:20, I think.
Really?
Yeah, which is probably the first show.
No,
But,
the first show was like 4.
oh, really?
Yeah, they're really.
I could do 4.
They just keep exploiting that little wiggle room, don't they?
They really do. I've seen some where I've gone in on Wednesday before it on a Friday release, and I've actually been able to see it on Wednesday.
But not like at midnight.
See,
No.
that's the kind of stuff that irks me. If it's a Friday release it on Friday.
Yeah.
Like my brain goes, Wednesday is bad because you said Friday. Stick to your word.
Right.
But that just gives the people.
Thursday.
But what about the people that
My
aren't
brain
creatures
is-
of habit that would appreciate the fact that it's coming out on Wednesday and they get to see it before the people that are just going to flock to the theater on Friday? Or is it not that much of a secret
I
that
don't
people
care
just
about
go
their
anyway?
feelings.
Uh,
I don't.
So when I went to get tickets for Deadpool and Wolverine, I went in, and now obviously, well, not all theaters do this, but most I think do, where you have to like pre-select your seats beforehand, and you get to see all the ones that are grayed out, and it was mostly packed. Like
Nice.
there were a spattering of seats.
A spattering.
In weird
That's
position.
a good word. I love
All
that
the
word.
good seats were taken. So yeah,
You know what?
crazy.
I'm adding something to my list. I'm a word nerd. I like good words.
Yeah.
And you're picking spattering?
Yeah, spattering. It doesn't get used frequently enough. I think that, it's fallen by the wayside and we should rejuvenate spattering.
All right. Everyone grasp onto the little spattering. We should change our name of the show to the Spattering Dorks.
The spatter.
That comes up in totally different search engines, okay?
That is true. That is facts.
But it's one of those words that,
So as I was going through a lot of that, promos for the show, and reaching out to all the people on, that I usually reach out to, I really got a lot of positive feedback from people, and a lot of, can't wait for your guys' show, blah, 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 like really, really enthusiastic about it. And I think there might be a little confusion between the Thursday and the Wednesday thing.
That's our fault.
And that is our fault completely. So,
And, well, wait a minute. That's my fault.
Going forward,
I will admit
Thursday is the day. 7 p.m. is the time frame, and that will be on. But the cool thing about it is we're on YouTube, so you can watch it anytime you want to watch it.
Mhm.
We'll put it on Facebook. We'll put it on other social media
But
platforms.
if you want to hang out with us,
Yeah, but if you want to be live in the mix, like next week, what are we talking about?
The MCU. We're going to talk a little bit about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, our thoughts for its direction going forward. Do we think that it's going to
Is
MCU's got a lot going on.
Deadpool and Wolverine gonna save it?
right?
Yeah,
I mean,
MCU.
is it really gonna perform? And let's take it for what it is. I mean, the MCU is at death's door.
Is it though? We'll
Pretty
discuss that tomorrow.
proverbially at death's door.
I think we can definitely get in depth on that.
Yeah, so I'm just saying that it would take a lot to resuscitate that.
I think so. My opinion is that the MCU. Let me paint a picture for you. Right, we're in the ER. Okay, and the MCU is laid out on the table. What?
They're coding.
Yeah, they're coding. Code blue. Okay, they were coding, but somebody grabbed the defibrillator. Right, clear. And now we have a heartbeat. I think there's a heartbeat.
I think. See, okay, I will say I've been very disappointed with the MCU in its lack of direction and just the overabundance of flooding us with new characters without spending any time to really develop any of them. Because
How long did it take the Avengers to get to where they got to? I mean, how many Iron Man movies and Hulk movies did we have to sit through?
Exactly. We had a lot of development and people grew to love those characters, but they grew to love them. Even like Thor, when Thor first came out, the first movie, it was okay. But over time, being in the Avengers, he was way better in that first Avengers movie than he was in his own movie. The Dark World, we can just pretend didn't happen. Thor Ragnarok was amazing.
It was not
Great.
bad, okay?
Took him to a new level. By the time he ends up in Infinity War and Endgame, like, you love that character. But that took time. They needed to do that character work. And right now, or at least before what they've been doing with Phase 4, they just were throwing new characters.
Shoving it down our throats, really.
Yeah.
That's next week, Sean. We're giving you a little teaser right now.
Quantity over quality. So what I really want to see them do is buckle down and be like, who are you looking at as your main core characters, and really work on fleshing them out. Make them people that are household names that we can love, and don't just give us everything. But I think they're already starting to do that. They've like cut down on the amount of movies and TV shows that they're going to do. They've put in a company-wide policy of how many movies they can do and how many TV shows they can release. So I think that they're. I don't want to spoil too much, but I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic.
Okay,
There's
so-
a heartbeat.
So
There's a heartbeat.
with that being said, I mean, is the same to be said about DC? I mean, can we say the same about DC, or DC to me just seems to be really directionless? I mean, and
I
you're
feel
saying
like-
that was MCU's problem, but I think it's more than a problem at DC.
Listen.
I mean, they just cannot figure out what kind of an identity that they want.
So whereas somebody's grabbed the defibrillator and we have a heartbeat with Marvel, I don't think they've even called the code yet. Like, I think we're still running around like chickens with our heads cut off, can't figure out what to do with DC. Somebody needs to call the code blue, so that we can fix this and give them a heartbeat. So
So
nobody's called the code.
I have a visual diagram for how I feel about the MCU versus the DC.
Oh, okay.
It's this. So the MCU was all the way up at the top. Marvel, they were doing so well, right? And now the only problem with being up at the top is that you only have two places to really go. You can keep going lateral and straight and keep that up, or you're going to go down and drop. Now, DCU, on the other hand, science nerds, you'll know that being at the bottom where it is, it has the most
Only one place to go.
it has the most potential energy. It's at rock bottom, so the only place for it to go is up. So I do think that the DCU is going to probably be very good, especially with James Gunn.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that I've been holding out hope
James
for
Gunn,
was
yeah.
James Gunn,
Yeah.
and also Matt Reeves. I mean, I like Matt Reeves too. So and I
Mhm.
like his take on Batman. So
I just
yeah,
request next time, can we have like a spreadsheet?
Is that-
I'm more
as
of a-
opposed to a graph.
right. I think I'm not.
Oh, okay. You want a spreadsheet?
A
Yeah, that would be great. Let's review some Excel.
Sean can do a
An Excel?
PowerPoint.
yeah.
There we go.
There we
I
go.
want a PowerPoint. I am excited for, was it Creature Commandos, the cartoon? I think that's the first actual DCU offering under James Gunn's belt. It's going to be that cartoon. Looks cool.
Well, the first in the new era of James Gunn stuff, because I mean, yeah, Peacemaker and
Peacemaker. Yep.
Suicide Squad.
Which is weird because Peacemaker's going to be in continuity, but there's definitely a scene in there where he interacts with the old DCEU Justice League. So I guess we're just going to pretend that part didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean,
We're gonna
you
wait.
gotta do something.
I'm fine with it. Continuity, look, who gives a shit when it really comes down to it? We want good stories. And Peacemaker was awesome.
And
So-
let's be fair. There are so many, like just in the comic book age, there's just so many different storylines and timelines and universes and whatnot.
know.
It doesn't really even matter anymore.
If anybody really cared about
If you give me a good
continuity,
story.
we wouldn't have 7 different X-Men movies with like 18 different storylines.
Well, no, I mean that's actually pretty accurate because there's a lot of source material, but
There is.
they would be more akin to like X-Men 97 in that offering than they would be to the like Days of Future Past and the other kind of mediocre X-Men movies of the recent future
Of the recent future.
past.
Pass, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan. I mean, they lost me at X-Men 2. I
I
mean,
think they lost
in
you
my
at the
opinion.
first one.
X2.
no, I liked X2. I liked the opening sequence in X2. I thought X2 was brilliantly, like Nightcrawler opening sequence was amazing to me. And then it just
Went
shit
down.
the bed the whole other rest of it to me.
You mean within the movie X-Men 2, or did you?
Yeah.
Did you? Oh, okay. Wow. All right. Okay. I mean, I liked X-Men 2. Don't get me wrong.
I didn't like anything subsequent.
You did like
Didn't
what's
like
his
Stan.
name
Last
as
Stand. Didn't like any of those.
Gambit.
What's up?
You did like Taylor Kitsch as Gambit. You thought that was fantastic, and I hate it. I can't stand him.
I didn't
as
think it was
Gambit.
fantastic. I thought it was thought it was good. I like him. I mean, I'm a Taylor Kitsch fan. I liked that movie he did about the what was it about? I don't know. It was kind of like dystopian, but it was like more futuristic. But I can't really remember what the movie was. But it was like Avatar before Avatar. I mean, I don't remember what it was. It was a Disney movie, though. I think
John Carter.
John Carter.
John Carter. Yeah.
That was a good
I
movie.
thought that was a good movie,
That was a good movie.
and I became a fan of his during that movie. I became a fan of his. He was in Friday Night Lights, the TV show, and I thought he was excellent in that show too. So, anyway, I'm looking more forward to the DCU than I am to the MCU. I don't know.
Can I ask
I'm
a
a
controversial
I'm a little
question?
afraid of the MCU at this point.
I'd like to ask a controversial question.
Yeah, go for it.
So, whereas we've discussed that the MCU seems to have lost its direction, and they seem to be kind of floating in the breeze there, free balling, if you would.
It's like a fart in the breeze.
Do we think that the DCU has ever had any direction?
No, it absolutely hasn't.
Because I don't think so.
I
don't
think the
think that-
direction it has successfully had was the TV shows, like The
But that's-
Flash and even Arrow.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
such a small,
Kind of.
like 2 things out of 50
Smallville was
does
great.
not make direction. It just makes
I think their TV
coincidence.
shows have been great, in my opinion. Like I don't think they've had a real stinker. I mean, I liked Swamp Thing. I think they should have kept that one around.
Amazing.
I liked Constantine. I think they should have kept that around.
Yeah.
Doom Patrol, excellent.
Also great. Dude, they did such a disservice to those shows by not promoting them the way that they should have.
100%. Even Titans was good. I mean, until the last season. The last season was kind of schlocky, but
yeah, but they just had no confidence in their projects. They didn't understand what they had that was good. Because like you take that and then you compare that to like Legends of Tomorrow, which was kind of trash. I mean, let's be real. That show was all over the place.
100% trash.
But they promoted the shit out of that one because they're like, oh, it's got superheroes that people know about, kind of. But like, no, Constantine was so much better.
100%. Swamp Thing was amazing.
They got
for
too
one
tied
season.
up in trying to compete in that ring over there that they were forgetting about the ring that they were good at.
Yeah.
The problem is that they didn't have enough faith in themselves because they had the DC channel, right? That was before they sold the rights to Cinemax or HBO or whatever. They had their own now failed channel, which it was, a streaming service. And they had Constantine on there. They had Doom Patrol. I mean, they had a lot of the shows on there, right? Swamp Thing, but they didn't really have any faith in themselves, and they kept shelving stuff that they should never have shelved.
Yeah. Yeah, they decided to cancel Swamp Thing before they even aired the first season.
Yes.
Which sucks.
Right.
You just shot yourself in the foot. You have no idea whether or not it's even going to be successful, and you've already quit.
And Swamp Thing is a really great story. It's a great
story,
comic.
And it's also not played out.
100%.
Batman played out. I'm sorry, but you are flooded with Batman, okay? Daredevil, Superman, Green Lantern. Throw these
Daredevil's
things.
Marvel.
Green Arrow. But I'm throwing out characters that are
Oh.
just overly saturating
I hear you.
the entirety of. I mean, how many
I don't think
Fantastic Four
Daredevil
movies
is-
are we gonna make?
I don't think Daredevil's oversaturated.
But
I agree with that. I don't think.
Swamp Thing,
But I think it's fair to say like Spider-Man. I mean,
Spider-Man, yeah.
so much Spider-Man.
But I would watch a Spider-Man movie more than I would watch an X-Men movie.
Yeah, well, in general, their quality's been a little better.
It depends on which Spider-Man we're watching.
True.
I think anything but the Andrew
Yeah.
era
No
is
emo Spider-Man?
fine.
You're not down with the emo
And
Spider-Man?
I like him.
I do like Andrew Garfield.
I like him as an actor. I mean, I think he's really good.
Yeah. I think he was even likable in the No Way Home when he came back in as
Yes,
that version of
I
him.
think that was
I agree.
his best moment as Spider-Man, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I would rather watch that than I would watch X-Men. But then again,
I'm an
do we
X-Men
really
fan.
count? Do we really count the fact that Sony is the one that's resuscitating MCU?
Ooh.
I mean,
I don't know why Sony.
I
has
hear
to do
the baby.
oh yeah, sorry, that's Olivia. That's my daughter. She's
She's
new
our,
to the world,
our
and
new welcome.
She's our mascot.
No, that's not the right word. She's she's like the Laura Dannon of our world.
Willow.
Right.
yeah, that sound means she woke up and she's hungry, and I think she stopped, which means she's probably being fed. Yay!
Hey,
Probably
parenting is happening as we speak.
That is so. The BRB minion.
The minion. I like that.
That is cute.
Minion's good.
Minion is fantastic.
Minion works.
I do think X-Men. Well, I agree with you. I would rather right now from current selection, I would rather watch a Spider-Man movie. I think X-Men has potential simply because I don't think that any of the live-action interpretations have gotten it completely right.
They have not. No.
No, but I loved X-Men 97.
Oh, yeah.
So if they could take that vein of X-Men and make a feature film like that, I would love it.
Yes, it was so good. Well, it started from a really great place of understanding that Wolverine is an awesome character, but Wolverine is an awesome character as part of an ensemble and not the focal point. He's the gritty bad boy, and if you're gonna have him like be the focus of the X-Men, well then it's just the Wolverine movie because he's not a team player. So how on earth are you going to focus on a team with a guy who's your protagonist who's not a team player? It doesn't make any sense. So by focusing more on like Cyclops, Rogue, Magneto, like they did a much better job of, I think, getting to the core elements of the team. And then even the other characters that are there who maybe didn't have as much development, they still felt like part of the team, like they were included because the people that we were focusing on were team players and included them in the story. Sorry, rant. It bothered me for years. I love Wolverine as a character, but it bothered me so much that they were like shoving him down your throat, and he was like the entirety of that X-Men franchise.
Oh, absolutely.
I think Chad had a good point. Knack,
Yeah,
I think it was Knack
over there.
Knack. It's like building a loner D&D character in a party setting. You know, I mean, come on. I mean, why would you do that? I mean.
Right.
Yeah,
To always go off on your own? I mean, is that what
X-Men
the goal is?
really spotlights and showcases what makes the X-Men
The
great.
purity of X-Men, yeah.
And
Plus,
what makes the
they
X-Men
drew
great is their teamwork.
Magneto amazing. I thought Magneto, the rendering of Magneto was awesome.
I think it's the
Just
balancing of characters, the character development, how they play amongst each other and against each other.
And that Storm,
has always been
not
the
Halle
reason
Berry,
X-Men works.
is not Storm. That is Storm.
Yeah, 100%. Yes.
Oh yeah.
So
You know,
Halle Berry's key go down in history worst line in a film.
yeah.
you know what? The one thing about like the X-Men, and we'll talk a lot about this, I guess, next week, but is that I think they did Scott Summers the best. And he
Right.
was like the least liked, but he was the most accurate.
For years because he was very much mistreated. You know, in those X-Men movies, Cyclops was a side character. He was brushed aside. They kind of made him a little bit of a jerk. They made him a little unlikable. And then the comics sort of followed suit because they saw like, oh, Wolverine's really popular with people. All right, well, let's kind of just make Cyclops an asshole for a while. But that wasn't who the character was originally. You know, back in the
Right.
late 70s, early 80s during like the X-Men heyday, before we got to the 90s and things really exploded. Cyclops was a good leader. And that was his
Excellent leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the sad part about it.
But
Yeah.
I mean, that's the deal when you
Is it
have
Sumner
something
or
that-
Summers?
Summers.
Okay. Thought I was right. But
you know, you
second guessing
you
myself.
listen to the fans, you listen to the wind and the mob, and what is going
But
to sell.
For whatever reason, these companies don't do that. Just listen to the comic book. That's all I ask. That's all I've ever asked is of these big giant companies, listen to the success of your comic and the writers of the comics.
Any comic. 'Cause
They
there's
have-
17 different versions.
But they have made epic storylines, and they could take any one of those and make successful movies out of
it's
them.
like having a script written for you.
Right. That's been my point all along.
It was
And
honestly
it's
a lot of
driving me crazy.
MCU it was taking a look, it was cherry picking. It went through comic history and it's like which storylines worked. In a lot of cases, they did a little bit of fine touching and remixing to make things work a little better. You know, when you have the ability to do that, I mean, why not? You know,
Right. Why wouldn't you?
Civil War, right? Marvel Civil War was a huge event comic. The concept was great, but it had some issues, and so they smoothed those out, put it in the movie, made it work even better. But
And
yeah,
it's a great movie.
material, it yields a better product. Yeah.
And I don't know why that people just can't take that advice and run with it.
Well,
And I'm hoping that Gunn does that. Takes
So-
that advice and runs with it.
from the beginning of,
He's a purist.
I would say, X-Men, is where the first comic rendition flop was. That very first X-Men fall on its face. It had the most slack, more than Spider-Man. No, there was no forgiving it. Fans were just livid. I don't know how to put this. Like, what makes you not listen? Like, are they doing it on purpose? Because one of the biggest critiques that they had was that they were not true to any storyline whatsoever.
What are we
So,
talking about right
We're
now?
talking about comics. And are they doing it on purpose, not being true to the storyline? Are they just saying, you know what, it's my movie, I'm going to do it my way?
Okay.
Or are they just stupid and not like,
That's a good question.
because quite obviously from the beginning, you have fans of this, and that's what you're attempting to reach, right? You're trying to reach the fans, the current fans, and create new fans.
Sure.
So you've completely isolated current fans because you've completely fucked everything that they know and love, and ruined it. And you've only gained new fans if it's good. And it's only good 50% of the time.
That's being generous too.
That's a generous estimate.
I mean, you just look at the Fan 4,
Right.
and just that.
Not a single one of them is
not
any
even,
good.
not
They have
even
Goose it.
not
So-
even batting like
You've-
100.
You've ostracized your fans, and you haven't even gained new fans.
You're striking out
So what are you doing?
constantly.
Why? Are you doing it on purpose, or are you just stupid?
I don't think they're doing it on purpose. The problem is that has been all along is that they're having movie executives make the decision
Yup.
for the comic book industry.
That's exactly what I think. Like a lot of it comes down to those producer notes, producer they come in and they're like, look, we have a bunch of numbers that say this is what works with people, so let's go ahead and make sure that you include that in the movie.
You know.
And oh, this is a little controversial, don't put that in. And there's a lot of that. There's also, I mean, it's not all of them. There's some instances where it's just been like uninspired directors who come in and they're like, you know, they're kind of there for
Or
a paycheck.
actors
They
even.
really want to be doing a comic book movie, but that's what's making money. So,
Right. Or actors that are phoning it in.
That too. Yeah.
Because tell me if I'm wrong, and I'll leave MCU at this. But Thor was a great analogy. When it's on, and it's epic and it's good, right?
Yeah.
But when it's off, it's off. I felt like, what's his name? Chris Hemsworth. I think he phoned it in on all of the Thor movies except for Ragnarok. I think he phoned it in. I mean, I felt no passion, no pizzazz, no. I mean, come on, when you have a character that big, you can demand stuff. You know, you can demand a rewrite.
I don't think he phoned it in, at least intentionally, on Love and Thunder. I think that movie was a product of Taika Waititi being stretched so thin that he wasn't putting his A game into there. Because, like, his acting, if you go back and watch it, like, he's trying. It's just the writing sucks.
It was not a good, right.
Directing sucks.
Yeah, I mean, you can just go like this at a wall for so long before you start leaving a red mark.
It's one of those things you can polish a turd, but it's still a turd.
Yeah.
You know, there's only so much you can do to make that better.
Right. And you're just beating your head against a wall incessantly and not coming up with anything good.
To his credit, Chris Hemsworth, I forget where it was, but he had said something along the lines of he wants to do another Thor movie because he feels bad about.
He wants to redeem himself.
He doesn't want to leave the fans on that note. So good for him. It's really nice.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is a character he's portrayed for how long now?
It's got to be the right Thor movie, though.
Yeah, I know. It's got to be good. They need another Ragnarok. They really do.
But you know what? What was the equation in the Ragnarok was the chemistry between him and Hulk. You know, to me,
yeah,
that definitely elevated it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Valkyrie. I mean, I thought that was great too.
Fantastic. I loved her.
But we're gonna get so into the MCU. You're gonna have MCU coming out of your pores. I mean, there's so much to unpack.
There's tons.
It needed a little teaser.
We needed like an episode and a half, so we started early.
Yeah, this was our appetizer for our next week's show. Next week we are diving into the MCU in depth.
Hors d'oeuvres. Anybody?
Talk about upcoming projects.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot on the table for MCU.
And then I think we'll follow it up with the DC at some point episode.
I mean, we'll sneak one in there.
Because I need more Batman.
Stuff.
I don't care if it's oversaturated. I don't need another Christian Bale Batman. I don't even need another Michael Keaton Batman. Just give me another Robert Pattinson Batman movie and I'll be happy.
Calvin now. The appointment for that.
That's really bad when that's kind of a funny joke.
That's kind of a funny.
There are good Batman stories that have not been adapted
100%.
to silver screen yet.
You know what I'd like to see?
Frank Miller.
City of Bane. That was a great storyline.
You want Frank Miller's Batman.
I do want Frank Miller Batman. I want a dirty, gritty, grimy.
And I don't understand why they haven't done that yet. Like with the direction that everything is going.
I mean, that's what the Dark Knight's supposed to be.
Right. And making things darker and, you know, making characters more realistic, more human. I know you did.
I'm not even gonna beat around the bush. There's nothing wrong with it.
But
I'm in many
I feel like if they wanted to be successful, they would have done Frank Miller.
And they don't hate Robert Pattinson's Batman.
They don't hate it, but it's not going to skyrocket the way Frank Miller would. I think Frank Miller's Batman would. hit the stars.
I just want a good representation of Batman. I'll take whatever iteration of Batman you want to give me, as long as it's a good representation of it.
They could have banked on Harley, but then they did some.
You know what
shit
would be
with that.
great at this point in time? A Nightwing freaking movie.
Hey,
Why wouldn't they do that?
I think that they are going to do that. I don't know if it was confirmed yet, but it's at least been stated that that's a character that James Gunn is interested in portraying in a film.
thank
So
God.
yeah,
It's been a long time
I
coming.
think it's coming. Yeah,
Good. We need some Nightwing.
We do.
I agree.
And I think that the MCU needs to do a better job of stop teasing things and actually deliver on them. That's something that Marvel did a good job. I mean, DCU needs to stop doing that. Because Marvel did a really good job, like with their end credits, and we're going to tease you with this, and we got an Easter egg of this, and they actually produced it for you. And then,
For the most part.
for the most part,
Sure.
but as far as the DC goes, like they give you these teasers and Easter eggs and little drops and cookies,
And what is their answer to all of
and
that?
they go nowhere.
Black Adam 2?
Oh
I
God,
mean,
Jesus Lord.
I mean, that's their answer, really.
I mean, in fairness, that one ended because they thought they were going to be making that movie when they put that out, and then whoops. Whoops.
Blue Beetle 2? I mean, come on. Are we being real?
Yeah. It's not
No,
good.
that's like doing Madam Web 2.
Ugh. Ooh.
Hmm.
Ooh. Ooh. That's a dark mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Madam Web said
That needs ointment.
That needs some ointment.
All right. Well, shall we wrap it at that? I mean, we're a couple minutes over, and we have lots to talk about next week.
We have lots to
Let's-
talk about every week.
Let's just remember,
I'm so excited.
like, yeah. I mean, I blink and the show's over. I mean,
right.
next week we are back on Thursday, which is our normal day at 7 p.m. Thursday. 7 p.m.
Not Thursday tomorrow, but next week Thursday.
And
As in
we
August
got to do
1st.
what we can to do to bring more peoples into the show so that we can have, I like chat buzzing.
Mhm.
Yes, we miss you guys. We do.
We really do. And I think the part of it is our problem is that we took a long, long hiatus.
We did, but we needed it. I think self-care is important, and we took care of ourselves for a little bit.
I agree. Plus, we had a baby along the way.
I did have a
We
baby.
did not. He did.
I'd
I'd like to think he's our minion.
He's
She's our minion, not just.
He was born like right in that gap where it was like baby born. I'm in a hospital with her for like a week. We bring her home. We're getting through our routines. So part of the delay was on that, and I fully own that, and I don't apologize.
Absolutely not. No.
Don't apologize ever.
But I will say a special thank you to everybody who tuned in today, and I really hope that you come back, that you stick with us for future episodes, that you come watch our MCU
It'll be
episode, a DCU episode in the future, interact in the chat, and bring some friends. If you know some people that might be interested, send the word out. More in the community, the more people we can get involved, the better.
Yeah, share all the advertisements that I put out there and that they're putting out, and great things will happen if you build it. They will come.
If you touch it. Anyway, on that note,
If you blow on it, all right.
we're going to be out for the night, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next
We appreciate you. Peace and love.